Welcome back. Today's episode is a deep dive straight from the trenches. We're hitting the hottest questions from salespeople like you. Should you prospect in the afternoon like other coaches suggest? How do you create valuable content without giving away confidential client information? And what is the single biggest mental unblock to overcoming rejection? Grab a notebook. This is the playbook. All right, team, let's start with the first question.
Other coaches say, prospect in the afternoon when more people pick up. You say, morning. What's your take? Is my 9:30 a.m. block really non-negotiable?
Yeah, so for me, the mornings have always been treated like oxygen in sales. And let me explain what I mean by that, is that I know that if you leave one of the hardest things, and in my opinion, the most important thing till later on in the day, it just doesn't happen. And at best, you'll do it for a couple of days, and then you'll realize that the rest of your day gets taken up by other people's schedules and demands. And that could be your clients' demands. That could be other family members' demands. Sometimes you just get tired, even your body yourself gets tired. And that most important thing, what you need to protect like oxygen being in the mornings, is prospecting, lead generation. You have to, in sales, meet as many people as you possibly can in person or online, because it's the lifeblood of your business, and what you actually get paid to do is to help people. Now, sitting back and being reactive is not a good strategy in sales, especially in today's economy. It doesn't matter what relationship-driven sales industry you're in, real estate, mortgages, insurance, high-end car sales. You help people with their portfolios when it comes to stocks and mutual funds. In today's market, the phones are not ringing as much. The emails are not dinging as much. So you need to set up time where you do prospecting activities. What you do doesn't really matter, as long as you do some type of prospecting activities. I like you to have, 2 to 3 different types of funnels, i.e. social media being one of them, making outbound phone calls, connecting with people. You could be door knocking, you could be going to events. But the reason I want you to do this in the morning is because it's scheduled. Most client appointments happen in the afternoon and in the evenings. And so from now on, 9 a.m. to 12 p.m., that 3-hour block needs to be protected to go out and get business. So when someone else calls you at that time and says, hey, can you help me with seeing a property? Can you help me doing the paperwork for a mortgage? That's not the time that you do that. You let them know that you have an appointment. So this way, from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m., your time and your schedule is blocked out to prospect on the days that you use, for the days that you actually work. What's the next question, team?
I know I should make videos, but what are 3 simple, non-confidential questions clients ask that I can turn into a reel today?
Well, look, at the end of the day, you never, in terms of confidentiality, I'm not here to tell you to say that, I was speaking with client X, Y, and Z, and they live at 123 Main Street, and this is how much they have in their bank account. That's not what I'm talking about. When I say use the questions that you're getting from clients through email, through the phone, through social media, in person when you're having appointments, you're getting questions from people. And if you're not getting questions, you got to meet more people, at least 3 a week. So an easy way to look at it is when you get a question through email, and it might be something simple, like for real estate agents, you get the question of what is going to be the lawyer's fees and the disbursements, right? You answer the question in email or in social media, whatever you got it, by text, and then you jot that down for a piece of content. Now, as long as you're time blocking, you could do that first thing in the morning to make sure that you get this video posted. You got to understand that when one person is asking a question, that's usually reflective of at least 7, 8, 9, 10,000 people thinking about that question as well. It might sound basic to you, but you're in the industry, right? And we also do a lot of jargon speak as well, but the public doesn't know what half of these things mean. It's why they're asking these questions, especially if it's the first time that the public is looking into getting a mortgage. Maybe it's the first time that they're buying a car. They're asking these questions because they're not familiar with it. Your job is to answer to them right away and then put it out on social media, because now you can get out to more people and now you're educating. And don't do the nonsense that I see so many salespeople start with, okay? Which is, hey, guys, you wasted the first 3 seconds. First 3 seconds are the most important in any video that you put out. And then on the end of the video, it's like, call me for more information. Look, they're on your social media profile. They don't need to know your name. They don't need to know to call you. In your profiles, in all of them, you could put a little bio. In the bio, you put, a link to your contact info. You can put an email button. You can have a link that goes straight into, WhatsApp. Like, you can do this stuff on TikTok and on Instagram and LinkedIn and Facebook. Now, that's why you don't need to say it at the end. Just give. You want to get into the practice of just giving away all the information for free so people can make an informed decision themselves. The game changes in terms of doing more deals in whatever industry you're in when you become the authority by being known as the person who gives away the information. What's next, team?
I worry about discussing sensitive topics or being controversial. How do I get past the fear of what people think?
Look, first and foremost, I come to realize that nobody is thinking about you as much as you think that they're thinking about you. At best, you're a supporting actor or actress in someone else's life. Like, think about right now. You're thinking about a lot of different things. You're trying to listen to this. You're trying to watch me, but you have stuff on your mind. You're actually maybe thinking about, oh my God, could I do that? Or I'm better than him. There's a lot of thoughts that go into our mind. Right? I also know that if your fear is to put out content because you're concerned, or make phone calls because you sound needy, or meet people at a networking event, whatever that fear, it will persist if you resist it. It will just show up in other parts of your life. Life will always find a way to put you in front of your biggest fear. So, a great way to deal with that is put yourself in that situation before life does it for you, because it will. I've dealt with it myself. Hundreds of thousands of people way before me have gone through this as well. So you might as well start putting yourself out there, and you'll get to have the results that I got to experience. See, once I started to put out my personal stories about where I was born, because I was worried about telling people where I was born and raised up, because I thought they were going to judge me. I was worried about a lazy eye that I always had, right? Up until about a year ago, I had to get it fixed, okay? Not because of the insecurity, by the way. And I'm not trying to just flex, as the kids say. I had to fix the lazy eye because it really screwed me up while I was driving. I used to have a turban as a kid. They would use it as an ashtray, okay? What happened is, once I started to put all this stuff out, all the insecurities up front, two things happened. Number one, because I put all these insecurities out, people had less to say about me because I already gave them all the artillery, and it's kind of useless once I'm telling you about what all the things I'm insecure about. You really can't use it against me anymore. So it becomes very freeing. Number two is that my tribe started to get created, meaning people who were also from Rexdale, right? The area. People who also had other insecurities. It didn't need to just be exactly the same insecurities. What other people, which is everyone, who had insecurities. Not that everyone is connected with me, but the ones that felt my vibe, they're like, you know what? I like your authenticity. I just like that you're real. You're kind of raw. That's probably the biggest compliment I get, or let me rephrase that. That's the most common compliment that I get when it comes to somebody who's just meeting with me or seeing me online, which is it's just your rawness. See, once I started doing that, I got my actual network, my community grew. It went from a couple of hundred people to thousands of people. Now online, collectively, I'm somewhere in the hundreds of thousands of people. I've done so much business from people that just started watching an event that I put on, came to an event in person, saw me on social media, heard this podcast. I mean, we're 307, 308 episodes deep. It all started once I got comfortable in my own skin. Remember, nobody is thinking about you as much as you think that they're thinking about you. Start putting yourself out there. See what type of content specifically. Like, do you like video? Do you like audio? Do you like writing that you're most comfortable with? You'll start to get feedback. You can make changes as you go, but none of that stuff matters until you actually get started. What's next, team?
I'm part-time with 2 young kids and a 9 to 5. When and how do I fit in the prospecting hours to go full-time?
Yeah, so very important question here. A lot of part-timers in a lot of different sales industries, and this is real, right? Not everybody can make the jump right away, and I completely understand that. I want to get to a place where we could make whatever industry, i.e. real estate, mortgages, insurance, you want to make that full-time. So I get where this is all coming from. Now, first things first is you have a job. And I think the person who was asking this question also had kids. If not, like I have an almost 10-year-old and a 12-year-old at the time of this recording. And so what you want to do is, so you don't feel guilty because you're working full time and then you want to do this side hustle as well, the part-time sales job, where so you don't feel guilty, I would strongly advise that you set time, block out time, that you are the parent or you are a brother or sister to somebody. All the family obligations / community. You might have to go to church and you have responsibilities and roles there. Block that out. You'll start to notice out of 168 hours minus the hours that you sleep in a week and minus the hours that you work full time, there's still a lot of time. There is still a lot of time. It's not a matter of how much time anyways. It's a matter of what you're doing with that time, right? And you might not be able to prospect 3 hours a day every single day. But what if you did dialed in, locked in, no distractions, 1 hour every single day, right? So you work 9 to 5, you got to do some family stuff from 6 to 8. What if you went hard prospecting for 8 to 9? And that doesn't mean, you're kind of scrolling in between, you're checking emails, none of that. I mean, making phone calls, reaching out to people. Maybe you're just door knocking for an hour, whatever it is. If you did that for 1 hour every single day. Now, remember, as much as I want you to rest and you need to rest, I get that. If you're somebody who's in this job part-time and want to take it full-time, for the first couple of years, you need to give everything at this point. Make sure you sleep 7, 8 hours, whatever you need. Make sure you spend time with your family. I get that. And you obviously have your full-time job. But that doesn't mean that you can only do this once a week now. Because, what are we doing here? You might as well just stick with the full-time job. Why have all this headache, all this burden on yourself? And at the end of the day, why have all this, anxiety around, oh my God, can I do this? Can I not do this? You might as well just do something else. But if you're somebody who wants to make that shift, and this is you have a strong why that you want sales to be your gig, then you got to do this every single day, 7 days a week. But here's the beautiful thing about it. I know people who do not prospect in this industry 7 hours a week and they're in it full time. So if you do 7 hours a week, that's 28 hours in a month. You could do a lot of good. A lot of momentum can happen from 7 hours a week of prospecting. Prospecting must happen when the main job stops. What's the next question?
What's your full strategy for nurturing your 13,000 plus person database? I get stuck on calling past clients because I feel like I'm wasting their time.
Yeah, look, I appreciate the person who obviously listens to the content on a regular basis. If you knew the number of the 13,000, so I appreciate that. Here's the thing. Number one, we have a weekly email. Here's the full system for you in terms of our nurturing of our CRM/database. We send out a weekly email to our clients. Okay, like clockwork, it's set up automatically. We set up 4 emails for the month, and then we set up another 4 for the next month. This way, we're always kind of it's timely in terms of what's going on in our market, what's going on in the economy. We have events that come up as well, and I'll touch on that in this full system as well. Now, we ensure that everyone in our database gets an email at least once a week. Why? Because we just want them to, at least we get a shot at getting into their inbox. I know we might go to people's spams, right? But what here, again, I said this is the full system. We're going to hit people high, low, from the left, from the right. That is one way. Second thing is we put on an event every single month, twice a month. One in person and one webinar. So every 2 weeks, we're doing some type of educational event for our CRM, okay, for people in our network. And then we have it set up where we call people every 4 months just to check in. That is our full system. Been doing that for a little over 18, 19 years now. And 85% of my real estate sales on my team come from our database. Let me just say that again so everybody caught that. 85% of our business comes from the CRM. Now, you got to make sure that you have the CRM set up. You got to have a CRM, then set it up and segment people, right? So the 4 ways that you want to simply segment people is past clients. And I know you had a question, or you mentioned past clients in this question. Past clients, prospects, both hot and cold. You want to make sure that you have your sphere of influence, your aunt, your uncle, your friends from high school, your current friends, your family members, all of that, your people at the church, okay? And then 4th, other service providers, other guys and gals that need business so you can give business back and forth to each other. Now, when it comes to the past clients, I understand if you were to call them every 4 months and ask them for a referral, well, there's a good chance they're not going to pick up the phone. That's why you need the full system. Because when you're inviting them to educational events, they might not need to come, but it's a lot easier for that past client to invite or to let one of their colleagues know, to let one of their friends or family know that they have a mortgage broker, they have a financial advisor, they have a real estate agent that puts on free educational events, right? It's a lot easier for them to tell them to say that to their friend, colleague, or neighbor than, hey, you got to use my guy that I buy cars from. Right? It's just, it sounds too salesy for them, and they don't want to put themselves out there. But to say, hey, I got somebody who gives out free education, it's a lot easier. Oh, I don't want to go to the other side of the city. You know what he does? He also does a webinar where it's absolutely free. It's on Zoom. He does that once a month. It's sheer education. Doesn't pitch anything. Doesn't sell anything. That's one of the fastest ways for you to actually do deals and get consistent referrals. So if you want to get consistent referrals in sales, start to become the authority. Teach something, don't pitch. And what you want to do is when you get somebody one-on-one, that's where you consult, you ask questions, and then always remember to ask for the sale at the end of that conversation. That's a wrap on today's episode. If you're ready to stop guessing and start building proven systems to generate more appointments and scale your business, I encourage you to check out Jazz Tacker Coaching. The link is in the description below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Until next time, keep crushing it.